This is 2022 first quarter online investor conference of Oneness Biotech Company, Limited. We are very pleased to be joined online by the distinguished guests and the investors in this virtual investor conference. First of all, I would like to introduce to you the management team: General Manager, Qiwei Cheng, Vice President of Medical Science, Shizhen Chen, Vice President of the Antibody Development, Yanyi Chen, Senior Manager of the Finance Department, Amy Xiao. Next, I would like to invite Qiwei Cheng, the General Manager, to give a brief speech.
Dear shareholders, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is the first investor conference in 2022 today. The management team should report to the shareholders on the progress of the research and development of the new drug of Oneness and the important aspects which shareholders pay attention to. We are hoping to let the shareholders know more about Oneness. In the first quarter of this year, the new drug R&D continued to move forward. Oneness and Microbio Shanghai jointly developed SNS-812, a new anti-pan-COVID nucleic acid drug from our own laboratory. Its data have been published on EMBO, a top international scientific journal where it also has received positive commentary from the scientific community. SNS-812 has become one of the new drugs that are about to enter into the clinical trial. We would keep the shareholders updated with the progress of subsequent research and development. Another asset, ON101, which everyone is keen to be updated, is under NDA review with China NMPA as well as negotiation for global out-licensing. Oneness team always maintains a high degree of determination, professionalism and ambition. We are fully committed to our goal. All the materials submitted for NDA are in compliance with the GCP inspection and the quality inspection by the National Institutes for Food and Drug Control. It is now the critical stage of review. We can do nothing but wait. We wish things go well with ON101 NDA and it can be marketed in the mainland as soon as possible. In terms of the progress of the licensing negotiation, a number of international pharmaceutical companies have proposed offers, and we are also in discussion with the US FDA with the subsequent NDA plan. In addition, 2 ASEAN countries have already accepted ON101 for NDA review. 3 more submissions are scheduled to be completed in the first half of this year. With the acceleration of international market access, the value of ON101 as a new drug will be more clear. As for the FB825 US Phase 2 clinical trial, at present, data verification, lock and analysis are undergoing. Due to the large number of specimen analyses requested by the international partner, the final analysis will be completed in early May. This TUA trial is FB825's first trial on patients with atopic dermatitis in the United States. These patients may respond differently to medications because of their race, etiology, allergens, steroid use, and many other factors. Sanofi's AD drug Dupixent's registered 2 phase 3 trials only accommodated about 10% of the African American population, considering possible variation by the different gene background. In contrast, FB825 in this TUA trial is basically used as a multifaceted exploratory test for all American AD patients, including intrinsic AD, extrinsic AD, no cutoff for TRCS level, serum IgA level, or the eosinophil counts, in an attempt to fully explore the clinical value of FB825 for patients with moderate and severe AD under all subtypes in the United States. Of course, this may create uncertainty about the final clinical data. However, the purpose of the TUA trial is to explore different aspects of the drug in clinical practice. We have previously completed studies on FB825 in the target population of AD in Taiwan with clinically significant data. This time we look at the effects of FB825 on moderate to severe AD patients in the United States, including non-target patients. Such results are important for our subsequent design and execution of large-scale Phase 2b and Phase 3 trials. 2022 is a critical year for Oneness in terms of the acceleration of the internationalization. Many cooperation opportunities continue to come up, and the new drugs of Oneness are either first-in-class or best-in-class, which have strong scientific basis and a complete and powerful drug patent layout. Oneness is determined to move towards the goal. In the future, in addition to out-licensing strategy, we would also consider to expand and strengthen the capability in the market by merger and acquisition. We connect with the international market by the innovation and global competitiveness. I believe that the future will be better and better. Thank you. This is the disclaimer for your reference.
Next, the research and development progress will be presented by Dr. Shizhen Chen, Vice President of Medical Science.
Thank you. I will update the R&D progress. The development progress of Oneness pipeline mainly includes 5 new drugs. The first is FB825, which is an anti-C epsilon MX antibody, undergoing 2 phase 2 trials in atopic dermatitis and allergic asthma. The second drug is FB704A, an anti-IL-6 antibody. A phase 2 trial and the evaluation of the development of a second indication are currently being conducted. The third drug is ON101, which is a macrophage regulation drug. As we all know, Fespixin has been listed in Taiwan and is under different main programs for development, including the phase 3 trial in the United States, the NDA application in China, the medical device application in the United States and the European Union, the NDA application with the ASEAN health authorities, the publication progress and the cooperation from academic, medical and industrial perspectives. The fourth drug is OB318, which is an anti-cancer drug under a phase 1 clinical trial. The fifth is SNS812, a nucleic acid new drug for coronavirus, and is currently under preclinical development. For the development of antibodies, I will hand over to Dr. Nini Chen, our Vice President of the Antibody New Drug Development, to give us an update.
Thank you. Next, we will report to you on the research and development progress of antibody new drugs. First of all, I would like to present the design rationale of the Phase 2 clinical trial of FB825 in atopic dermatitis in the United States. 2 exploratory clinical trials have been completed with FB825 in Taiwan, respectively accommodating 12 and 20 patients with moderate to severe atopic dermatitis. The clinical data in the Ig-mediated target population were reproducible. The Phase 2 clinical trial in the United States is the first clinical trial in the US. This trial didn't set criteria to distinguish particular subtypes and explored the maximal usage of the drug among all patients. We would like to explore its greatest potential, to evaluate whether there are ethnicity differences, and to reconfirm the results of the Taiwan exploratory studies. These collected data will serve as an important reference for the design and execution of subsequent clinical trials. In this Phase 2 clinical trial, we have enrolled a wide variety of patients with moderate to severe atopic dermatitis, and collected specimens for biochemical analysis. The aim is to collect as much clinical data as possible for the FUCHE 2b trial. During the enrollment of the Phase 2 clinical trial of FB825 in atopic dermatitis in the United States, the pandemic of COVID-19 led to the closure of some of the participating clinical sites. Patients were unable to return to the clinics on a regular basis due to the severity of the epidemic. In addition, the quarantine and enhanced protective measures have reduced the exposure of allergens, so the proportion of severe cases among moderate to severe patients may be lower. In this case, the Phase 2 clinical trial accommodates all different types of U.S. patients with AD, and there are no specific criteria to include target population by FB825, so it possibly includes both drug-responding and non-responding populations. The purpose of this trial is to explore the largest applicable population of FB825 as an important basis for the implementation and success of subsequent Phase 3 clinical trials to Clinic B experiments. In the midst of an outbreak, all study visits and specimen collections for all subjects were completed in January this year. That took 18 months. With the request of the international partner, a large number of patient specimens were collected, so it took a longer time to complete the testing and analysis. We are scheduled to complete all tests by the end of this month. The CRO will complete the database lock and statistical analysis by the end of April this year, and the clinical study report, CSR, is scheduled to be completed in Q2 2022. With regards to the progress of the Phase 2 clinical trial of FB825 in allergic asthma in Taiwan, since allergic asthma and COVID-19 infection are both respiratory diseases, the progress of patient enrollment is affected. The pandemic has reduced the willingness of patients to seek medical treatment due to the tightened control of PCR screening in hospitals, etc., which has reduced the willingness of patients to seek medical treatment. The measures for coping pandemic, including isolation, cleaning, mask wearing, etc., have led to a relatively stable condition of respiratory-related diseases. The proportion of the targeted moderate to severe patients may be reduced as a result. At present, 4 medical centers in Taiwan have been activated to enroll patients, and we are adding 2 more medical centers for recruitment. After the IRB approval is obtained, those sites can be activated and facilitate enrollment. COVID-19 remains the biggest uncertainty in this trial, and we will work closely with hospitals to refine the enrollment strategy and keep track of patients to ensure that the right patients are recruited. The trial is scheduled to be completed in H1 2023. The trial duration is 9 months and the CSR is scheduled to be completed in H1 2024. The next is the progress of the Phase 2 clinical trial of FB704A in severe asthma. At present, 4 medical centers have been activated for enrollment. Another medical center is being added to the study pending the IRB approval. Severe asthma is also a respiratory disease, and the enrollment of patients has also been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. The enrollment is scheduled to be completed in H1 in 2023. The trial duration is 4 months, and the CSR is scheduled to be completed in H2 in 2023. In addition, we are initiating a clinical trial to collect clinical specimens for biomarker exploration. This is to identify the responding patients to ensure that right patients will be included in the trial. The FB704A is under exploration for a second indication. This indication is chronic kidney disease, CKD, induced cardiovascular disease, CVD. About 700 million people worldwide suffer from chronic kidney disease, of which 50% of them develop a cardiovascular disease. The CVD complication is the main cause of death of chronic kidney disease, and there is currently no effective prevention and treatment strategy. The mechanism of anti-IL-6 has demonstrated treatment opportunities to reduce chronic kidney disease-induced cardiovascular disease in Phase 2 clinical trials of other drugs. Therefore, we actively explore the possibilities of FB704A in this indication. We have progressed to the in vivo study where we have completed 26-week long-term toxicology evaluation in March this year. The analysis and report of the study data is scheduled to be completed in Q2 2022. There are no safety concerns in the preliminary analysis. We will conduct a feasibility evaluation based on animal study, including evaluating the reduction in key indicators of chronic kidney disease, its biological activity, and other data in animal models. After comparing with competing drugs, we will decide whether to perform the second Phase 2 clinical trial of FB704A. The above is the progress report on the research and development of antibody new drugs. Thank you.
Following is the progress of Phase 3 clinical trial of ON101 in the United States. Oneness has activated 15 clinical sites in the United States and is currently conducting the first round of the enrollment assessment, which will close some of the inactive sites. At the same time, we also evaluate the inclusion of large medical centers. Based on the impact by COVID-19 prevention and isolation measures, the trial schedule will be updated and DFU patient enrollment will be completed by 2023. The trial duration is 8 months and the Phase 3 trial will be finished in 2024. We also discuss with the US FDA on subsequent NDA matters and the timing of the rolling submission. The timeline for the trial is subject to adjustment if there is any requirement by the FDA. The current goal is to complete the NDA in the US by 2025. As for the progress of the NDA in China, I believe this is a topic that all investors are very keen to learn more about. Oneness also pays a close attention to the information on China's CDE platform every day, and the current status is that the technical review has been completed. In terms of progress, it is a comprehensive review under a comprehensive evaluation by Division of TCMs and Ethnomedicines for final assessment and repot. As of now, we have not received any requests on supplementation. In January this year, Oneness submitted Taiwan's CDE final assessment report to the China CDE for reference. Oneness has done multiple communications with the Chinese Health Authority. All the materials were submitted in compliance with the regulatory science and promptly, so it should be able to meet the requirements of the NDA. There is no request on supplementary documents so far, so we will wait for the final decision by the China CDE. According to Chinese regulations, the review timeline for NDA is 200 working days, but the Chinese regulatory authorities may use stop clock for the review time as necessary. Therefore, the exact duration is subject to the calculation by the health authority. In terms of the market access progress on ASEAN Plus One, NDA applications are planned to be made to 3 countries in the first stage, including Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand. We completed the application submission for NDA with Singapore HSA in December last year. The overall review timeline is 180 working days. In February of this year, we completed the NDA application submission with the NPRA in Malaysia, and the entire review period will be 245 working days. In March, we also submitted the product classification application in Thailand. Among other market access progress, the second stage includes 4 countries: India, Vietnam, the Philippines, and Indonesia. For India, in December last year, an application for clinical trial waiver was submitted, and the review period was approximately 6 months, and after receipt of the waiver grant, an application for NDA administrative review can be made accordingly. For Vietnam, it is expected that an application for NDA administrative review will be submitted in April. In the Philippines, the Philippine FDA has issued the GMP, and the application for NDA administrative review was submitted on March 22 this year. In Indonesia, the application for NDA administrative review is scheduled for H1 in 2022. In summary, we can complete the NDA administrative review application for a total of 5 countries as of H1 this year. In terms of the progress of medical device for wound care in the United States and Europe, it is anticipated that the supplementation to the application for 510(k) in the US will complete in Q2 this year, and the FDA in the United States will respond in 30 calendar days after the completion of the supplementation. Speaking of the application for medical device in the European Union, the target indication is for scar care. The ISO 13485 quality system audit has been completed without major findings. The notification will be given after the completion of administrative procedures by the notified body, NB. The landing of the EU's Medical Device Regulation (MDR) is expected to be proposed in H2 this year. This slide presents the planned publication in international journals. The in vitro and in vivo study on mechanism of ON101 has been completed and submitted to the internationally renowned dermatological journal. According to the reviewer's comments, the data supplementation has been submitted to the journal for review. We anticipate that it will be accepted for publication. The other study on ON101 mechanism is a small 12-person exploratory study that is currently under data analysis of specimen and biomarkers. We will determine the presentation route according to the final results. ON101 is also performing a number of investigator-initiated studies, IIS, and will determine the presentation route as well depending on the results of the trial after completion. OB318. This is an anti-cancer new drug under Phase 1 trial. The cohort of the first dose has been completed and meeting of the Safety Review Committee, SRC, has been completed. During this quarter, we also completed the enrollment of the cohort of the second dose. It is expected that the cohort of the third dose will be completed in the second quarter, and the fourth dose cohort and the fifth will be completed in the third quarter. The cohorts of the sixth and seventh doses will be completed in the fourth quarter of this year. The eighth can be completed in Q1 next year. In case where the tolerance or the plasma concentration of the subjects reach maximum level before cohort 8, we will be able to conclude the trial accordingly. This slide presents SNS 812 research and development progress for COVID-19. It is a nucleic acid new drug co-developed by Oneness and Microbio Shanghai. Based on the results of the database search as of March 16, 2022, SNS-A12 covers 99.8% of the COVID-19 variants, including the currently most prevalent Omicron BA.2. The latest data also confirmed that SNS-A12 exhibits strong inhibition of Omicron strains. The IC50 reaches 0.125 nm. The IC50 against HCOV229E, another family of coronaviruses, causing flus, also reached 0.681 nm. The results showed that SNS-A12 not only targets COVID-19, but also tackle a wide range of coronaviruses effectively. At present, the program with CMO and CRO have begun as scheduled. We plan to submit an IND in the United States in H2 2022. The research results of SNS-A12 have also been accepted by EMBO Molecular Medicine, a top international journal, and have been officially published on February 21 this year. EMBO is a very well-known international journal, and this is a screenshot of the published paper of SNS-A12. As soon as the paper was published, it received international response. International experts in viral and nucleic acid drugs have given acknowledgement on the research results of SNS-A12, believing that nucleic acid drugs such as SNS-A12 are the solution to overcome the COVID-19 virus mutation and will be the next generation of drugs for the treatment of the coronaviruses. Next is the sales of Fespixin in Taiwan market. Through the efforts of the team, we have completed the listing application for 20 out of the 21 medical centers, an increase by 5.2% over the previous quarter, and the coverage rate of the entire channel has reached 95.2%. In terms of regional hospitals, 53 applications have been completed this quarter, an increase by 51.4% compared with the previous quarter, and the channel coverage rate has reached 70.7%. In terms of area hospitals, 36 applications have been completed, an increase by 12.5% over the last quarter, and the coverage rate of the channel has reached 67.9%. For clinics and the in-hospital pharmacies, 379 have been covered. In terms of medical centers, the prerequisite for listing application at the NTU hospital is the HTA report with NHI, so we are currently waiting for the results of the HTA, and once available, we will submit an application for listing with National Taiwan University Hospital. We estimate that we can complete the listing application for 100 regional hospitals and area hospitals in the first half of this year. For hospitals that listing procedure has been completed, under the program with acceleration in case collection and medication experience, we hope to quickly expand the market share. We have also set up a diabetic foot care information network for all diabetic patients. As of today, there are 498 pharmacies in the network, and everyone is welcome to check it online. In terms of the collaboration with medical professional, academia, and the industry, Fespixin has been under research project and encourages medical professionals, academia, and the industry to participate in the academic and clinical research of Fespixin to expand the value of this new drug. Among the currently ongoing collaborative programs, the first project is the venous ulcer (VLU). The second is scars research with 2 studies. The third is the biofilm of the wound. The fourth is the pressure sore, also with 2 studies. The fifth is DFU with 3 studies. This is a detailed list of the collaboration with medical professional, academia, and the industry. First, lower extremity venous ulcers study is performed at Taipei Veteran General Hospital and Shuanggo Hospital. This study is to evaluate the safety and efficacy of Fespixin cream in patients with venous ulcers in lower extremities. This trial is ongoing. There are 2 studies on scars. The first is performed in the Tri-Service General Hospital to evaluate Fespixin's effect on the thyroid resection or cesarean section scars, and it's the short and mid-term cosmetic effects on scars. This study is under smooth progress. The second scar study is a basic research conducted at Shuanggo Hospital, using a translational research method to explore the formation of scars with active ingredients, and to explore the entire prevention and treatment mechanism of epithelial stem cells in the microenvironment of scars. This trial is underway. The study on wound biofilm is performed at NTU Hospital. In the diabetic animal model, the efficacy of Fespixin on biofilm is currently being evaluated. In terms of the study on pressure sores, it is performed at Kaohsiung Medical University Hospital and Wanfang Hospital, which is an open-label trial to explore the efficacy and safety of Fespixin cream on the pressure sores. The study is also being carried out. One project with diabetic foot includes two studies, one in Cathay Pacific Hospital and the other in Changgung Memorial Hospital, which targets diabetic patients on dialysis. Many diabetic patients are receiving dialysis, so we hope to understand the safety and efficacy of diabetic foot ulcer treatment in dialysis patients. The last diabetic foot project was performed at the China Medical University Hospital, and the most important thing was to explore the effect of Fespixin cream in the treatment of diabetic foot ulcers, especially for the classification of Texas 3A and 3B. This study is currently under review by the IRB. A new indication in radiation dermatitis is under evaluation. There are about 20 million new cases of cancer worldwide each year. As we all know, cancer is also the #1 cause of death in Taiwan, and the treatment of cancer is currently changing rapidly, but 50% of patients still need radiation therapy. Of course, this proportion varies from cancer to cancer. Radiation therapy technology are advancing rapidly, but 15 to 80% of patients still develop certain degrees of radiation dermatitis. Therefore, in the post-market exploration, we found that ON101 has a good protective effect on radiation dermatitis, including reducing the wet desquamation and giving anti-inflammatory effects. As shown in the figure, this is a patient who used ON101 during radiotherapy at 50 grays without the occurrence of any radiation dermatitis. Oneness is ready to establish an animal model to explore the efficacy and mechanism of action of ON101. We also convene clinical expert meetings to confirm clinical needs and discuss trial design. We will decide whether to perform a multicenter phase 3 trial of radiation dermatitis in Q2 2022 for indication expansion. Oneness also actively participates in various international and domestic conferences, and continue to connect with the medical community and the international market. We attended the joint meeting of the Taiwan Society of Surgery in March this year, the General Assembly and Academic Symposium of the Taiwan Society for Wound Care on March 26, and the World Union Wound Healing Society, WUWHS, online and published papers. We then will attend the online meeting of the American Diabetes Association, ADA, in June, the meeting of the Taiwan Society for Burn Injuries and Wound Healing in September, and the annual symposium of the Taiwan Society of Plastic Surgery at the end of the year. Fespixin's drug approval license and market entry in Macau. On December 16 last year, we obtained prior authorization for import of traditional medicines in Macau. Microbio Shanghai also launched a collaborative project on medical science in Macau to connect key opinion leaders from Q1 this year. The experience of treatment and patient feedback will be utilized to support the future marketing in mainland China. Based on the size of the Macau market and the consideration that the population is only 600,000, it will be part of the joint marketing with the Big Bay Area after the NDA in China is confirmed. As for the application for reimbursement pricing, the package was submitted to the National Health Insurance Bureau in December last year. It is currently being reviewed by the CDE's Health Technology Assessment, HTA. According to the review timeline of the application for reimbursement pricing for new drugs in the past 5 years, it takes 8.7 months median time, and average is 9.7 months, excluding the stop clock with supplementation to complete the whole process from submission to approval. However, the actual review duration is still subject to the National Health Insurance Bureau. In terms of international cooperation and licensing discussion, in the North American and European markets, there have been a number of international pharmaceutical companies with sales capability in dermatology, podiatry and diabetes with an offer of terms. The negotiation is ongoing and will be made on the basis of the maximum interest of shareholders. Oneness is also taking careful consideration on the potential partners. All of the negotiation or discussion is under confidentiality. No further disclosure shall be made to the public. For the licensing negotiation in China, there are also a number of pharmaceutical companies with strong sales presence proposing terms. However, considering the NDA review is still underway, it must wait until NDA is determined. The details of the licensing will be negotiated by Microrbio Shanghai subsequently. As for the global sales market layout, we adopt the method of zoning authorization. At present, they are continuing to negotiate and will cooperate with the progress of regional market access and strive for the most favorable negotiating conditions. Finally, we still have to remind all investors that Oneness develops global innovative drugs. Innovation is also accompanied by the high risk. Any research and development or trial may not progress as expected. Oneness has implemented a variety of risk control and management on the plan, but investors still need to be aware of the risk. It will take a considerable time to reach the stage where the new drug is successfully launched in the major markets with the establishment of the sales channel, inclusion in the reimbursement scheme, and acknowledgement by the physicians on its efficacy. Finally, we believe that Oneness has talent, capital, technology, strong momentum for innovation, research and development projects for new drugs, and more. Determined to keep moving forward. However, it still needs to reach a turning point for profitability. The turning point include the milestones of the licensed drugs, the market entry of new drugs into major markets, and the continual licensing of drugs. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks Dr. Shizhen Chen for the presentation. Thanks to the investors for being with us in the conference today. We will call it a day here. Questions which have not been answered during the online meeting will be provided with a reply accordingly via the investors Q&A before the start of the stock trading tomorrow. The next conference will be scheduled to be end of June this year. Everyone can continue to track the progress of a quarter. I wish you a successful investment. Thank you.